Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 182. It is October. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy? Wow,
Hey.
October.
We hibernated for the back half of September.
Yes, that's right.
We were like Steve Rogers at the end of Endgame, where people are like, Brian, Zachy, tell us about the new movies you saw, and we're like, no, I don't think we will.
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But we're back. We've been doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah, between the two of us, I mean, we've been all over this country.
Not together, but
No, sadly.
yeah. Well, I'm sure at some point there will be a movie film related trip planned.
Absolutely.
I went back to Chicago.
Nice. What was that for?
This was another podcast related thing. This is another Diffuse Congruence thing, which is my other show that I host with Pervez Ahmed. And this is now the third trip that I've made to Chicago in the span of like 6 months.
Wow, that's great. What had it been before that? Had it been...
generally I go once a year if I can, Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, I think I'm kind of done with Chicago right now for a little while.
Sure. Well, and for those who don't know, Zachy and I met in the suburbs of Chicago about 20 years ago. So Chicago means a lot to both of us. So
as it happens, you and I met at the Houlihan's in Rice Lake Square.
Yep.
And
Wheaton, Illinois.
I was just adjacent to that because I had breakfast with a mutual teacher of ours, Marco Benassi, which is like at Butterfield's, the pancake place right next to Houlihan's, and we were reminiscing, and it was good times. It was nice.
Yeah. And anyone who happens to live by there, I'll just throw this out as a little point of trivia. You can go into that Houlihan's, and there's a booth with my name on it. My brother and both my brother and I. So
like you etched your name in.
We had worked there for several years combined, and it was my last night before I was leaving for California. And there were two plaques at this booth of two women's names, and when customers would ask who they were, no one knew, or even how they were put there. So I decided to go to the jewelry shop downtown and replicate those plates with my name and my brother's name. And that night we drilled them out of the wall and drilled our plaques up, and as far as I know, they're still there. So I know the GM or even the regional manager still, and he said as long as he's still regional manager, our plaques will remain. So
wow, look at that.
Yeah, pretty cool. So when I go back home and visit, I'm always like, can I sit in booth 35, please?
See, one day there's going to be like the Brian Hall history tour.
Yeah, right.
People are going to pile into like a small bus and just go
to the booth.
Go to all your hotspots, like your childhood home that you grew up in.
Yeah,
would be you grew up right around there, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
See, you should purchase that house in advance.
Yeah. Well, you as well, and maybe the classroom where we met.
There you go.
Be counted as historically significant.
Well, we should just lock that stuff down now. Like it's like reserving like reserving a web address,
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Just in case. Yeah, and I will say this: United Airlines can kiss my ass. I'm so friggin' fed up.
Really?
Yeah. Did you travel United?
No, I was JetBlue.
Okay. Well, I have not traveled United in many an era until this trip, and I was delayed 2 hours going. I was delayed 2 hours coming. Just the absolute worst. And here's the other. I'm used to Southwest, right? Which is like pretty much everyone you're all in the same like mid-economy level boat, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like United has, so especially coming back. Okay, so they have this massive airplane, which you have to do if you're in economy, which I am. You have to do the walk of shame where you walk past. First class, and I've never seen first class like this. They have like footrests and shoulder massagers and women in togas feeding you grapes. It's ridiculous. And you have to,
United. Yes, I am familiar with this. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I was seated literally at the very, very back.
Right.
Like, as in, it is the absolute back of the plane. So
Right.
again, it's like walk of shame. And the thing is that now, for a while there, they had it like you can have there's like a screen in the back of the seat in front of you to watch whatever.
Right.
I love that now they don't even have that. They just have a little attachment thing for you to put your own like tablet or something to watch something.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I had the little TV on the back of my.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm just like, well, what if somebody does not have that? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're counting on that screen,
It's kind of weird for you to have to bring your own equipment.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm done. I'm done traveling. I'm too old for this, Brian. I just turned 40.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
On air. I've said it to you off air, but.
Yeah. I'm at that point now where I'm like, you know what? Unless we can invent instantaneous teleportation, I'm gonna avoid flying.
Yeah. Well, I have a quick story.
Yes.
So I get on my JetBlue flight, and I flew really, really late at night. So we took off about 11, and I didn't get in till, with time change, it was like 4 a.m. when I landed East Coast time, but I got here about 2 or something. So anyway, I sit down. I'm really tired, kind of hungry. I'm like, I can't sleep on airplanes. I'll watch a couple movies or something. And my screen is fritzing out. Like, it keeps flashing and changing and moving. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then eventually it went off.
Okay.
And it comes back on. And I look at my neighbor and I'm like, can you believe this? He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, ugh. So anyway, then it's really, really late. It's really, really dark. And the screen is full brightness. And I'm like, I can't get it to go down in brightness, just even in little increments, just so it won't. I even thought about putting on sunglasses because it was driving me crazy, even with my eyes closed. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to pick a movie. And I'm like, it's just cycling through the movies like a computer that's gone haywire. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm getting like really upset. And then I noticed my elbow was on the controls.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I was like, I am the hugest idiot. I mean, dude, I'm talking like an hour. This thing was driving me crazy. But then I thought, why would you put the controls square in the middle of the armrest? Like, push them forward or something where I'm not going to put my elbow. Like, that's literally where my elbows go. While fully admitting I am an idiot.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
And then I took the brightness down.
See, I thought this was a story about the impending machine apocalypse, but it's just
nope.
It's just
it was us all along.
Yeah, it's and that's a pretty good metaphor for how these things tend to go, right?
Yes.
Well,
anyway.
we are back. You just flew in like this morning.
Yeah. So I it's funny because off air, I think Zachy was worried I was dying. But now that I'm on there, you bring my energy level up, so I appreciate it.
Well, thanks. Have you had a chance to see any movies while we've been sort of in our interregnum?
Yeah, well, wow, good word. We were.
Thank you.
I was out visiting my girlfriend in New York, and we caught Hustlers together.
Oh yes.
Have you seen Hustlers?
It is the J-Lo stripping movie, right?
Yes. I mean, that's one way to put it. That
is what I refer to it as.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
And by the way, I refer to it that way because that's what the marketing has referred to.
No. I am totally kidding. Yes. I mean, that is absolutely how it's being marketed. I mean, in every article I've read about, it's just about, J-Lo stripping, basically.
It's hilarious because I truly I can't speak to the film because I haven't seen it, but I feel like Jennifer Lopez is one of these performers who what is she, like 50 now probably?
I think she is, yeah.
So for basically the entirety of her career, she has been defined and judged as a body.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well,
as opposed to a body of work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that, like I said, all the articles I've read about leading up to this movie was just about how good she looks.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But the movie is it's more than that. I was actually a little surprised by it. I don't think it's great, but I thought it was pretty good. And it's really kind of a Goodfellas-esque genre type movie based on this true story about these strippers at this club, and a lot of Wall Street types come in there. and unload a lot of cash. But then the recession hits. This is back in 2008, and they have to figure out how to keep this thing going and how to keep income coming for themselves. So what they do is they decide to drug these people, like literally sort of lure them and bait them in these other places, drug them, bring them into the club, and have them use their credit cards and steal thousands and thousands of dollars from them.
Good times.
And yeah, well, it's one of those things where I kind of, hearing that plot, I had a little bit of a distaste in my mouth because I thought that the movie was going to glorify that.
Sure.
Kind of turn that into some
Wolf of Wall Street kind of.
Yeah, but I don't really think it did. Like, I think it, you have Constance Wu plays the person whose point of view we're seeing the movie through.
So she's the Ray Liotta.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's like comedic moments and there's some dark moments and whatnot. And I feel like it ultimately didn't pack a punch like some of these darker crime stories can, but maybe that was intentional, trying to keep it something that people aren't entirely put off by. But I did think the movie did a good job of not celebrating what they were doing. I was worried it was going to be like, look at all this cool stuff we got by hurting people.
Right.
Which those movies can tend to do, but usually those people get their comeuppance. And I was worried that this one might make it feel like, oh, well, that was fun. Too bad this is over. But I don't think it did.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it was better than I expected, but still didn't, it's not something I'm going to be thinking about days after. But J-Lo, did she go by J-Lo? Jennifer Lopez. She's great. I think everybody's pretty good. Constance Wu, I feel like lacked a little bit of punchiness.
Okay.
She seemed a little adrift amongst the others, but then she kind of shows up toward the end a little bit, and when things start to go crazy. But yeah, I'd be curious if you ever catch this, what you think of it.
Yeah, I had hoped to see it a couple weeks ago, but now it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen, Brian. Just being honest.
Yeah.
Not for lack of desire, but lack of time.
Sure.
I don't think that's going to be like a family movie night thing. So.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
kids. This is how the world works. Now pay attention. Yeah.
I saw. Speaking of comeuppance, I saw Rambo: Last Blood.
Yeah. Well, speaking of family movie night, how was that?
Exactly. Yeah. It's make an outing out of that. So this was a movie.
Okay. There were cameras involved.
It is what I put on Twitter is if Home Alone 2 had a baby with John Wick 3, you'd get Rambo 5.
Okay, color me more intrigued than I've ever been.
Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, it's not good. I have many problems with it. But it's like gore porn,
That does not sound like my bag.
Yeah, it is a shame. I think that you had an opportunity to wrap up this character in a way that sort of does justice to the entirety of his arc. But instead, and I thought that the previous film, the Rambo from 2008, I thought that put a neat bow on the whole thing. I think you did not need to go any further.
Right.
Because that film ends and Rambo comes home from Myanmar, having murdered the entire Burmese army.
Right.
Job well done, and he comes home to Arizona, and we just see him sort of walking, down the trail to his family farm, and it's this mirror image of the opening of First Blood, the first Rambo movie, which I happen to like quite a bit. And I was like, all right, good. And so to me, I'm like, there's no need to go further. But I'm like, okay, well, if you've got another movie in you, that's fine. Make it worthwhile. And I think you could have done something really more introspective and talk about, his Rambo's PTSD or whatever. But instead, it's like Rambo has... there's this girl who has lived on his farm who's essentially he's raised like his daughter, right?
Okay.
And she says, "Oh, Uncle John, before I go to college, I'm going to go to Mexico to find my father who abandoned me."
Okay.
And Rambo's like,
and she's like, "Thank you. Good advice, and I will take that with me."
Exactly. At this point, Stallone's face is so Botoxed up that it's completely immobile.
That's a shame.
You need like the you know you need the subtitles practically, you know.
Right.
But anyway, so she goes. She's like, I'm not gonna go, fine. But then she goes. It's very predictable, and then it turns into Taken, basically, right?
Okay.
So now here's Rambo. He goes to Mexico, and he just starts mowing down Mexican people. You know, I mean, they are yeah, exactly. They are cartel people, just to be clear. However, here's the problem, right? This movie, it's like a MAGA fantasy, you know. And that was the issue that I had, was like, okay, I'm not going to in any way defend, because this girl gets kidnapped, she gets sold into sex slavery. It's awful, right? So obviously I'm not going to defend the people who do that. But the problem is, we live in an age right now where just like people being Mexican is being demonized.
Sure.
Right? So
this movie isn't... I mean, are there any nuanced Mexican characters in this movie?
There's like a female reporter who is like his ally, right?
Okay.
But the problem to me is that the character, like the foster daughter or whatever, you know, surrogate daughter, she's not a character. She's a plot point. She's a plot point. We need to, and that there was something really unseemly about that to me. Like, her purpose in the movie is to be sexualized and brutalized so that Rambo has motivation, which is like messed up to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had a big problem with that. And then we culminate in, so Rambo has dug these like tunnels underneath his house in Arizona. We see that in the beginning of the film. Why did he dig these tunnels? Oh, because I might need them later. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason.
Right.
So then, you know, he's like setting up traps. It's like total Home Alone. He's like smashing Christmas ornaments and leaving micro machines lying around. Like, it's like that. He lures these people to his house. Okay. In Arizona.
I was just gonna say, where is he? Yeah.
So now think about this for a second. We have a convoy of heavily armored SUVs with cartel guys who show up at his farm in Arizona. How do they get across the border?
Yeah, right.
That's like right there. I'm like, wait a minute. And they even show the fence, you know, as in like Trump's wall. They have these shots of it from overhead, and you're like, wow, ooh, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, from a plot point of view, why don't you just have Rambo do this in Mexico?
Right.
So
this is like, hey, I bet you won't come into these tunnels with me. Like, you know, Macaulay Culkin taunting.
Yeah, come on, you morons! I'm up here. It's like that.
Better come and get me. Yeah.
So the whole time we have Rambo like, I know the darkness that's in people's souls. You don't know. It changes you, and it's all these sort of aphorisms, right?
Sure.
It's sort of like, you know, in the 2008 movie, which I like, there's this part where Rambo, he's like, he has to help rescue these missionaries, and he's trying to get these mercenaries to help him. And he's like, die for something or live for nothing.
Right.
And I feel like one guy should have been like, excuse Mr. Rambo, sir, I'd like to live for something. I just want to throw that out there as an option.
Is that an option?
So you get these sort of like, the war, it changes you and this and that. But you have him doing stuff that's so completely effed up.
Right.
That it crosses the boundary from like, this is acceptable vengeance to this is something worse. You know, there's a part in this movie where he like shoves a machete in a dude's chest, okay? And he sticks his hand in and tears open the guy's chest and pulls the guy's heart out as he's like, so the guy literally dies with watching Rambo pull his heart out of his chest.
See, that feels like something that would have been a parody.
Yes.
You know, like 15 years ago of what action movies were like. And it would be like, well, yes, we get what point taken. They're not that ridiculous, but I understand what you're alluding to. But it's like, here we are.
and the problem for me is, I'm like, First Blood is about hey, I'm not a monster. I'm not a machine. I'm just a
Right.
man. Like, why won't you just treat me like a man? That's First Blood. That's literally what it culminates in,
Right.
right? And then here we are, 4 movies later, and he's doing stuff that where you're like, well, that's just friggin' psychotic,
Right. Right.
you know? So
Well, then, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you want to risk spoiling the ending of this, but I mean, is there any self-reflection for himself at the end, or does he feel satisfied with what he's done, or is he disgusted, or is he like,
The way the film is constructed, you certainly are not meant to view what he does as anything other than righteous vengeance.
right, right? See, that's too bad, because if you're going to wrap up this series, you would like to, maybe it's him wrestling with his humanity versus being some sort of killing machine, right? And
Yeah, right.
the war
exactly.
within, I don't know.
And it ends in a way, and this I don't think this constitutes a spoiler, but it ends in a way where my interpretation was that it's like the end, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
But they leave it vague enough. And actually, had you seen it, I would have been curious to get your point of view. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I really didn't.
Sure. Well, especially, and I'm sure some people would be like, what, after all that? But I get it where there's like a character that you enjoy,
Yes.
you know, and sometimes it's hard seeing them in a movie you hate, but you just enjoy being back in that universe, you know, and you enjoy seeing that character again. So I totally understand probably how
That
you
really,
feel
like,
about it.
you just hit it, right? I genuinely, I like the Rambo film. I mean, you know what's funny, Brian, is like, and you've, at this point, for the majority of the time I've known you, every once in a while I'll be like, you know, Brian, the Rambo movies, and you kind of like, as a good friend does, you're like, yes, Zachy, tell me more, you know, as your eyes drift skyward, you know.
Nah.
But my point is, like, you know, 2 weeks ago, I wrote an article in the San Francisco Chronicle
Yeah.
examining the cultural importance of the Rambo films, and there was that moment of like, holy crap, like this is like for real. There's like validation here in my being a fan of
about
this.
your, you know, the things that you're interested in, and it's really, this is something I've always said, because I love your Nostalgia Theater podcast, which I have nothing to do with, and I feel like you are this wealth of information about these interesting things to people, and I love now that your passions are getting put out on an even bigger platform, because I think that many more people will enjoy reading them. So I thought it was very exciting to read that.
Well, thank you. I think I'm a fairly, fairly an authority on the character.
Oh yeah.
But an even bigger authority on the character is David Morrell, who wrote the novel First Blood and of course created Rambo. And he gave an interview where he's like, this is awful. This movie, like, I'm embarrassed to have my name on it.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is what he said. Look at this. In my novel, Rambo is a man bitter about what he learned about himself in war. That's not dramatized at all in the new movie. Anyone 40 years or younger won't have the faintest idea what's troubling him.
Right.
And I was talking about the movie with my brother, and he was like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "Well, one of the big problems to me is like at times it didn't feel like Rambo. It could have been John Smith instead of John Rambo, and it wouldn't have mattered." And then I read an interview with Morrell, and he said exactly that. He's like, "It could have been John Smith."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was like, "All right, well, I get if I'm
Yeah.
on the same page." And Morrell, of course, I had him on the Nostalgia Theater show.
Which is an excellent interview.
Well, thank you. And that was one of, what's funny is that, so I heard Morrell on the commentary track for First Blood. Mm-hmm. We, by the way, still it is a coming, folks. We are going to do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is happening. We're going to do a First Blood commentary, but he did a commentary track for First Blood, which is a fantastic track, and a lot of the stuff he talks about, not just in terms of this character in particular, but like narrative construction, things like that. Really, I internalized it, and way back in the day, this is like maybe 20 years ago, I was like, one of these days, I just want to chat with David Morrell.
Yeah.
So that interview on Nostalgia Theater was. Is something I'd wanted to do for a long, long time. So,
yeah, and I mean, if anyone was qualified to do it too, I mean, having such a deep history, personal history with the movies and the characters and all that, I mean, it makes for such a richer interview. So,
yeah.
I'm sure he enjoyed it as
and
well.
here's Morel's last thought, and I'll leave our discussion about this movie there. He says, "My feeling about the character is that he usually reflects something happening in the culture of the time. If this film is a representation of what's going on in our country, we're doomed." So he's not a fan.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I think we will continue. I in a way, Brian, it's kind of for the best that we ended up kicking our discussion about First Blood down the pipe a little bit, because I wanna like leave it in a positive place. I want to go back to what I like about this character.
Yeah, and I look forward to doing that. And I know, sometimes it's a bummer when we can't lock these things in schedule wise, but like the Karate Kid, it happened.
It
And,
it exists.
We had a good time doing it, and Rambo will happen.
It will happen.
Yep.
What else have you seen, Brian?
Well, we saw the same thing. We saw Ad Astra,
Yes.
which is cool because, it seems like it's been hard for us, just, again, with the travel to see the same things. But I am dying to know what you thought about this.
So I just saw this 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I took my oldest son,
Oh, okay.
not realizing that it was a story about like how a father can traumatize you.
Right.
And you know what's funny, by the way, is I had mentioned before how I thought it was a stealth sequel to Space Cowboys, right?
Yes. Which,
Which-
I had your Tommy Lee Jones voice in my head the entire time.
Hey, everybody, I'm out here.
Hey, come get me.
Come get me. It's more like, I'm coming to get you. But what's funny is like Donald Sutherland is in it from Space Cowboys. Lauren Lester, I think his name is, from Space Cowboys. So
Right.
It's James Gray, who the director of this movie. Clearly, I mean, he had to have known that he was like bringing in all this Space Cowboy stuff. And I just find that funny. Like this random Clint Eastwood movie from 20 years ago.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we will have a brief discussion about this film without spoiling it.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is an astronaut whose father is Tommy Lee Jones. He disappeared in space. What, like 30 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds out he may be alive, and so he's sent on a mission to contact him. There's the very high level non spoiler version.
Yeah. I probably like the IMDb sort of summary of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, the group that I went to see it with was polarized as soon as we walked out of the theater.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like the entire conversation on this movie has been very polarized because people seem to be very passionately for it or very vehemently against it. Right?
Yeah.
So, you and I have not talked about this at all. I need to know what you thought of Ad Astra.
Well, apparently I'm a special case because I'm somewhere in the middle.
That's where I'm at too. Because I definitely didn't hate it. I liked a lot about it.
Yeah. It's a hard movie to say what you feel because it's one of those movies where I really appreciated that it existed.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
As I was walking out of the theater, I said, I didn't love it, but I appreciated it.
Yes. And I think that's the best way I can sum it up is that it's a really interesting story and it is told in a very patient, deliberate way, which I admired because I don't think a lot of movies are even allowed to do this kind of storytelling where it's very internal. All the characters are very internal. A lot of the shots are very slow, but not to the point of boring, but just because they want you to drink in the vibe.
Yes.
The vibe of what the characters are, what the movie is, but also this mission. I mean, it's kind of a melancholy mission, and it feels very 2001 meets Apocalypse Now.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And by design, clearly.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's not an original thought. And so I really admire that story, but I just couldn't find my emotional connection with it. And so that's what kept me at bay from, like, loving it. So what Brad Pitt is going through, I never felt like I was with him. And so I feel like I guess we're not really going to talk about spoilers, but just where it ends up, I wanted some sort of strong feeling one way or another about what had just happened, and I didn't have it.
I think here's the problem.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a problem. Here's my observation. It's a film about a character who is emotionally stunted.
Yes.
And he's cut off. And obviously, as a result of whatever psychological familial trauma he endured as a kid, it's left him unable to connect on an emotional level, right? So it's made him kind of a flat scan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, how do you dramatize that in a way that's compelling?
Right.
Right? I think there are few actors other than Brad Pitt who I'd want to watch go through the paces in this movie. Like, I think he's someone who I just enjoy watching. I enjoy, even in his moments of silence, I think he's an interesting actor to watch.
Yeah, he does a lot with his... Even when he's not doing a lot, he feels like he is. Does that make sense?
Right. No, it absolutely does. And so I was probably more engaged than I would have been with someone else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. There's one moment that did work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where Brad Pitt sheds a tear.
I did too.
Okay.
I did too. Yeah.
Right?
I love that moment.
Yes. That scene,
is what I mean.
Say again?
That scene, I mean. Like, I love that scene.
That entire scene worked, and for me, that, like, specifically the way he sheds a tear while remaining stoic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was that moment was made more powerful to me because of the fact that we've not seen him express any emotion up to then.
Yeah, and I had read an interview with the director where he said he tried to keep this thing, the whole movie, pretty technically accurate, but there was debate on set that tear wouldn't work in space,
right.
and he was like, "Who cares? Like, that's what this moment is all about, and like we have to say screw it to this."
Yes,
and it's funny that was a moment that you and I both. For a movie that didn't make a ton of emotional impact on me, that moment did.
I think as an experience, it felt very similar to First Man.
Yeah.
Right. Which as I recall, you and I had the same reaction to that, where we appreciated the craft and the artistry, but we felt a little bit at a distance from the main character, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of the same problems here. But again, I sort of like, first of all, I knew nothing about the movie going in, zero.
Me neither. I mean, I've seen the trailer, but that's it.
I honestly feel like that's almost the best way to experience this. Mm-hmm. But it's I don't regret having watched it, but it's not a movie I would probably rewatch or necessarily recommend.
Yeah, agreed. Except for people that want that sort of experience that we're talking about, which I do. I don't even know how to put this into words correctly, but sometimes I enjoy slow movies.
Yes.
Movies that take their time because it's more about drinking in the experience.
Yes.
And I had just recently watched 2001. It was so awesome. It was in 70 millimeter at the Dome. And it's funny because that movie's nearly 3 hours, and it is a very deliberately paced movie. But I love that movie. Like, every frame I drink in, so I never get bored. And in this one, I wouldn't say I got bored, but I was a little more mindful of the time, I guess. Yes. And I was like, wow, it's just fascinating. And it's unfair to Ad Astra to compare it to 2001, which is a masterpiece. But I just like, wow, there's something in the chemistry, something where some movies can just do that and hook you and even be limited on propulsive emotions, but you still can't let go of it. And some movies come close. And for me, I think Ad Astra came close. And I know, like you said, some people are very passionate about it. And
I think that's applicable to 2001 also. I mean, that movie, people have extreme reactions to that film.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, I watched that in film school. I had already seen it, but I watched it with a class full of students, and man, they were just split right down the middle.
I totally understand that. Absolutely.
Have you seen 2010? Have we had this conversation?
Yes, I did, because you recommended it to me.
Yes, and, that's right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because it was interesting to
It's
see
a
the
whole other. I mean,
continuation.
there is no comparison to 2001.
Well, I was just going to say it didn't feel like it was even related in some ways.
Yes, I agree.
Because it very much felt like an 80s movie.
Yes,
Through no fault of its own. It just did.
I think you put Roy Scheider in a movie, and
Yeah.
it just feels of a moment. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Right. I mean, I think like you look at 2001 and Keir Dullea, like, well, what else has he done, right? Mm-hmm. That we know, really.
Right.
And so he's sort of frozen in time forever as David Bowman.
Right.
And then, and I mean, the Scheider character is in 2001, right? Haywood Floyd.
Right.
So, but it's just, well, it's Roy Scheider. It's just like, well, it's Blue Thunder Roy Scheider.
Right. Right.
Right.
And I remember they had a swimming pool in their living room, and that's the main thing I remember about that movie.
Like, how does that work? I don't understand that at all. That's
What if
really
it rains and the levels rise?
All right, so Ad Astra, kind of a.
It's for a certain type of moviegoer, and I think, I mean, that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
I think if it sounds like it might be boring to you, it probably will be. But if you like seeing sort of, slower pace but beautiful movies that really want to allow you to sit in them, stew in it for a while, and kind of go through something that is never going to feel bombastic. It's just going to be sort of a tone the whole way through. I think a lot of people want that sort of thing. I think it's very
Brian,
cool this is out there.
I one thing I'll say, I think when it all culminates, I wish it would have amounted to slightly more.
That's exactly that. I just didn't feel that conclusion.
Yeah.
That satisfying conclusion to all of this, which I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. There is a scene with a monkey
Yes.
that was goddamn terrifying.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's all
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking a little bit more, now I'm thinking of it more. There were some really interesting ideas about the near future, right? About having a base on the moon.
Yeah.
And what that would look like. And I really loved the way that it was realized. The fact that it did look industrial and kind of cold, but it had a subway.
Right.
I love that whole idea, and I think this is in the advertising, but there's pirates on the moon. And what's that like?
Right.
And especially if you're being pursued by antagonists somewhere where you can't hear anything.
Well, and I liked
It's pretty
that,
cool. It was realized in a very cool way.
I like that was just this episode that they didn't lay the pipe for,
Yes.
and then after it happens, we just move on.
Yeah, that's just the reality that this movie is living in. And
That's the world that they live in,
Yeah.
They didn't have like the stock characters like, you better be careful, because the marauders are usually prowling the Badlands, but like
Yeah.
the expo dump character.
Yeah.
They didn't have that.
Or that sort of that post-apocalypse teen movie thing where they always have like some sort of slang name for the villains. It's like the Mooners. Gotta watch out for the Mooners out there.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's our half-formed thoughts on Ad Astra.
Yeah, but I'm so glad we were able to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm glad specifically that we landed at the same place when it came to that emotional scene. So
Yeah.
real quick before we go to break, I wanted to share some new listener letters, and specifically these are some new reviews that went up on iTunes. So this is from Seth Goslin, who says, for anyone who loves film, is interested in the industry, or even just wants to hear entertaining conversations between friends, this is a fantastic show. You'll learn things. You'll get some interesting perspectives. You'll hear about films you may have missed and want to check out. The best podcasts have hosts with chemistry that comes from their genuine friendship. Zachy and Brian's friendship is evident, and they've generously chosen to share it with their listeners. Yeah, y'all. You're lucky to get it. Yeah.
Wow,
Brian's,
that was really nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
There's another review from...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Seth.
Yeah.
This is from Mike Snyder. He says, Zachy and Brian clearly love movies and have respect for the people that make them. So even when they aren't totally thrilled with the films they're discussing, like the recent chat on Hobbs and Shaw, They they still keep it light and entertaining rather than being overly harsh. Movie Film is a consistent good listen that is great for your commute or even something nice for the end of the day on your headphones. If you like movies, you're sure to enjoy.
Oh, well, thank you again.
That's that. You know,
it's
man.
so-
That's
yeah.
that is our brand. We're the non shit all over it variety of.
I try not to.
Yeah.
I'd rather understand why I didn't enjoy something than just poo-poo it altogether.
It's like we're not angry. We're just trying to understand.
Yeah.
I say that a lot as a parent.
Oh, do you?
All the time. I'm like, listen, I'm not mad. I'm just. Can you explain to me why you decided to rub ketchup all over the wall? Why would? What was going through your head? And I'm genuinely like when they do stuff like that,
Yeah.
where you're like, why would you possibly have thought that was a good idea? I need to understand this.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to dismiss this. I'd rather get some insight into your line of thinking.
That's true. So with that, let's take a little break and then let's walk through some headlines. And we're back, and Brian,
Yes.
you know what else is back?
What?
I truly, I feel like over the years, the many times we've randomly, just for the sheer hell of it, gone down Saved by the Bell rabbit holes.
Yes.
I feel like it's led us to this moment right now,
I know. Who would have thought?
where we have a Saved by the Bell reboot coming to NBC Universal's streaming service.
We actually have Saved by the Bell news. There's a reason for us to talk about it now.
I'm so excited. It was just getting hot.
That about sums up how I felt about this article.
Yes.
I'm so scared.
Now, I want to say, I at this point, based on all the stuff we're hearing about things that are being rebooted and whatever, I think some nerdy 80s kid got a hold of a genie's lamp or something and is just effing with the universe, right? I mean, what other explanation is there? They're bringing back Punky Brewster.
Zachy,
Yeah.
that was so funny. Got a hold of a genie's lamp and creating mayhem. Oh, sorry. I just had to take a step back and really admire that. That was very funny. No, yeah, the Punky Brewster thing. I mean, and none of these premises necessarily, I don't know, make sense. It's just bringing back an IP for the sake of bringing back an IP that we like.
Yeah.
Or liked. Because, I mean, even the Saved by the Bell aesthetic, I just don't see a universe where that aesthetic fits anywhere.
Saved by the Bell is a time capsule of like 1989 to 1992.
Which I still enjoy
Absolutely.
because of, its place and my memories of it, right? But it's so corny. I'm having a hard time picturing it on television. Well, I guess it won't be on television.
It will be on
It'll
streaming.
be on Peacock, right?
Yes.
Which is what NBC is calling their streaming service that I won't be getting.
All right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Oh, you mean Saved by the Bell? The new class isn't enough to get you on board.
Wait, what do you mean? Is there another one?
Well, no, that's what this will be, right? It's,
Oh, is that what? Yeah.
It's
Oh,
about-
yes.
It's about the children of like the first generation people who are now at Bayside.
Right. And apparently, Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley are on board with this, but Mark Paul Gosselaar was hearing about it the way the world was hearing about it, just reading it one morning.
Okay.
Going,
I will. Well, no, I'm not going to make a prediction, but I think Mark Paul Gosselaar has every reason not to do this because he's out of all of the Saved by the Bell actors, he really doesn't need it.
Yeah. Right.
Right? I mean, I would say him and actually, you know what? The Saved by the Bell actors have done better than you would expect.
Yes.
Because other than like Dustin Diamond, whatever, and I think Elizabeth Berkley hasn't done much, but like Tiffany Thiessen has continued to work, right? I mean, they've all had careers.
Yeah. Mario Lopez is, he's super successful right now.
Yeah, he's on one of them syndicated,
like Extra or
Extra,
something. But I mean,
yeah.
he's doing ads and this and that. I mean, he's a regular presence.
Mark Paul Gosselaar
currently.
was on NYPD Blue, for goodness sake.
Right.
And
And he's still Franklin and Bash, right? Was a
And
he's always got a series.
He's matured into a pretty good actor,
Yeah.
right? So this is a weird thing. Anyway, my point: the fact that this is about to come into existence, it's just it worries me, honestly. It worries.
Yeah.
me
Well, did you read what the premise was?
Yes. So Zach Morris is governor of California.
Right. Right.
So let's see. He gets into hot water for closing too many low-income high schools. So he proposes they send the affected students to the highest-performing schools in the state, including Bayside High. The influx of new students gives the overprivileged Bayside kids a much-needed and hilarious dose of reality.
There it is. I don't. You know what? It's funny. Actually, I read this a few days ago, and I was like, I just can't imagine this, but it's like sort of slowly forming in my head.
Yeah,
I can kind of picture it.
I mean, it's we're in this age of legacy sequels, right? Girl Meets
Yeah.
World and Fuller House and whatever that 90210 thing. Well, that's not really. I don't know what that is.
That's kind of a unique case. Yeah, right? That's like not a mockumentary, but like a. Right, it's supposed to be the actors playing heightened versions of themselves.
Correct.
Yeah,
but
but I didn't really watch Fuller House, but I guess that's another show that, in my mind, is locked into a time period. But apparently, it was, they did it.
I mean,
right?
and it did well enough. I mean, people watched it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, this thing is a coming. I think early next year, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever this thing.
Peacock.
Yeah, whenever it launches.
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
So in addition, by the way, so Peacock, Punky Brewster reboot. They're also rebooting Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
Which, I mean, the previous version was itself a reboot. Now people are mad because this new one won't, or as they initially thought, that it won't acknowledge the previous version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, guys, it's this. We're living in the singularity. Everything is you're gonna get rebooted eventually.
Right,
After you die, you'll come back gender swapped as a different race. That's just what happens.
Right.
Actually, interestingly about Battlestar Galactica, it's being produced by the Mr. Robot guy.
Oh, interesting.
Whatever his name is, and I should know that. That's, but he has said that it's not going to be a total restart. It's meant to exist alongside the previous version. So
okay.
the thing people were afraid of is not in fact happening.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you were saying? Sorry.
No, I just I mean, this is not an original thought. I'm sure we've said it many times, but I mean, this whole streaming service thing's getting out of control.
Yes,
there's just too much. There's no way you can subscribe to all of these things.
Yeah, so we're right, and it's Sam Esmail, by the way, who created Mr. Robot. But yeah, I mean, CBS got there first among the networks,
mm-hmm.
but obviously NBC. What else is coming? There's like a HBO Plus or Max or whatever it's called, right?
Right. Where they acquired? Did they get Seinfeld?
No, Netflix did.
Netflix. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Netflix got signed. Yeah, HBO got Friends because it's a Time Warner show.
So how did NBC not get that?
Because it's Time Warner. I'm sure NBC was in the bidding for it.
Sure.
But Seinfeld and Netflix ponied up $500 million for global streaming for Seinfeld.
Wow.
Half a billion.
Half a billion.
Now think about this for a second. Right now, this is a little time capsule. We're in the midst of like a whole impeachment thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now part of what that centers on is that the president was withholding military aid from Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Military aid to the tune of $400 million.
Yeah.
So Netflix. Right. So that's how much. So Netflix paid more than Ukraine military aid money for 5 years of global streaming.
I was just gonna say, for how many years?
Yeah, it's not that many.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, I asked my students this because I'm like, do you guys watch Seinfeld? And the overwhelming majority do not watch it or care to watch it.
I wonder, because I still think Seinfeld's funny, but
I think
obviously I
it's
was there for it. I wonder if
yeah.
it's one of those shows that just hasn't. It feels a little out of time in some ways,
Yes.
or locked. Let's call it locked in time.
It represents a specific era. I think for me, I'm endlessly fascinated by how much Friends continues to play.
Yeah, it really does, and it's its 25th anniversary currently, right? And
Yep.
I'm just seeing stuff pop up for it everywhere. I mean, that show is just continually beloved.
Yes, and I mean, I would argue qualitatively, Seinfeld's a better show.
Sure. Yeah.
I like Friends. I'm not a Friends hater.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. No. It's a different sort of.
I mean, Seinfeld was more revolutionary in terms of what it did, right? And
Absolutely.
yet, in terms of longevity, I mean, think about it. My college freshmen were born just as Friends was ending. Right? Because your average high school, your average college freshman was like 18, right? So they're born in 2001, and Friends ended in 2004.
Right, but they're watching Friends.
They watch it, they love it, right?
Wow.
I mean, it would be like me not me, bad example, but somebody else in 1999 being like, man, I love MASH.
Yeah, or I was gonna be like WKRP in Cincinnati will never die.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm a bad example because I loved all these shows. So I love WKRP and all, like,
Yeah. No, I love MASH.
it's not not the norm. I think I said because I watch MASH with my kids, right? Mm-hmm. So they know. I mean, what 10, 13-year-old knows that stuff, right? But I was talking to my oldest about Bill Hader. I was like, Bill Hader, right? And he was like, yeah, he does that Alan Alda impression, right?
right.
And I'm like, I don't think any other 12-year-old would respond that way.
That'd be funny. He dressed up as Alan Alda for like Halloween.
It's just like a
Whose
sweater.
kid is this?
You dress up as Hawkeye. Who are you supposed to be? I'm Hawkeye Pierce.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. All right. Other news. So, speaking of legacies coming back, this made me so happy.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming, but it's now official. Colin Trevorrow, who is directing and writing the third Jurassic World film, has confirmed that Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum will be back for Jurassic World 3.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, that's a franchise where, of course, I'm going to go show up for it, but I'm not feeling it
Yes.
necessarily.
Yes.
You put those three characters back in a movie, I'm going to show up. Whatever it is, I'm going to show up for that.
Now, what's interesting to me is that Trevorrow has specifically what he said was he has had this plan from the beginning, where he was like, I don't want to bring him in at the beginning and just kill him off. Hint,
Right.
hint. I mean, that sure sounds like throwing shade, right?
Right.
He's like, I want them to feel essential so that their return feels meaningful. And way back in the day, when we were in the lead up to the first Jurassic World movie, he gave some interview where somebody asked him, like, oh, are they going to be in it? And he's like, I respect those actors too much to just throw them in without a story that requires them to be there. And you and I talked about, well, the end of Fallen Kingdom certainly sets up a situation where you don't have to have Alan Grant in his 70s
Yes.
being like, I don't want to go to the island.
Yeah.
And back on
Why
the
do you keep taking me
Yeah,
back?
stop it. Now, he's also said that they will have significant roles, so it's not just walk-ons like Jeff Goldblum was in the previous one.
Yeah, that's great. Because I mean, when I say that I wasn't feeling it, like I don't connect with the current characters. Like I
Yes.
don't really care about the Chris Pratt character. I feel like he's not even that well defined.
Nope.
Like I don't, other than just being Chris Pratt. And the Bryce Dallas Howard character, I just kind of haven't found my way into caring about this new universe.
Yes.
But throwing those guys in certainly will help.
And this is meant to be a culmination of some kind. I can't imagine that Universal is going to fold up the tents after this one.
No, not they keep making the money they're making.
I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
They just did the ride, right? Spent all that money on a ride.
Yeah, and when you really think about it, I mean, in our last episode, we were talking about how Disney is really just demolishing every other studio. And I was thinking, I was like, well, Universal is one of the few that's kind of holding its own by doing its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, you had Fast and Furious and...
You got Fast and Furious, you got the
Park
Jurassic
World.
films, you've got the Minions. That's Universal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I mean, they've kind of found their own niches.
Yeah. Was that Illumination, right? Is the studio?
Illumination, yes. You have to say it that.
Yeah. Like the Grinch and all that, but it's all the same guy.
Yes, exactly. So,
Yeah.
the Jurassic movies, again, I can speak to this a little bit because I see it with the kids, with my kids. They're super fans, you know this. And, I mean, when they heard that these three are going to be back, they were just through the roof about it.
Ah, that's awesome.
Now, there's a short film. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. It's called The Battle of Big Rock.
I did, yes.
And that's just a little episodic thing that Colin Trevorrow wrote and directed. That it wasn't revolutionary, but I did like how it it clues you in on what the status quo is in the world now.
Yeah, it was a nice little, I don't know if interstitial is the right word, but connective piece, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, the world now is just crawling with dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And people are coping.
People are
adapting.
coping. Yeah, and I'm like, that's interesting. And the short is like, it is what it is. But to me, the more interesting part was the end, where interspersed throughout the credits, we have these little snippets of like a wedding interrupted by pteranodons and
right,
people trying to cross a road and there's a brachiosaur or whatever. Like that's the stuff that I'm like, see, I want to visit this world. I want to see what this is like.
Yeah, I got to admit, if we went back and listened to what I said with the last Jurassic World movie, I probably was like, well, what now? Like, this seems crazy. But then on the other hand, like, well, yeah, what else are you going to do?
Right.
You can't keep bringing people to a park.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I don't know where you go from here, but that's going to be the fun of watching it.
Yeah, and I will say that there is a video game that I've watched my kids play. It's called Jurassic World Evolution or something like that. It's not like an adventure game. Mm-hmm. It's like you are given the money to build the park.
Huh.
So it's like SimCity, but Jurassic Park, and it's a heck of fun. I gotta say.
Wow. Okay.
Like just
not the angle I would have imagined for a game like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's very interesting. Like I was like, that's kind of a unique approach. It's like you've got this much money. You have to create an exhibit. You have to make sure the fences are mended and stuff. And my kid is such a Jurassic World nerd that's like 100% his bailiwick.
Yeah. He would want to figure out how to run the park.
How to run the park,
That's so funny.
So Jurassic World 3 comes out summer of 2021.
All right, 2 summers.
We got a little bit of space in between. Now another reboot that's on the way is The Batman. Mm-hmm.
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. I am pretty much. I mean, obviously Batman is Batman, so I'm excited for that. But the fact that Matt Reeves is doing it, and Matt Reeves has a plan. Mm-hmm. That's what has me excited. He's already got a trilogy mapped out. Well, it's like everybody's got a trilogy. But what's more interesting to me is the fact that he's explicitly said that the plan is to leave room for, after he's done, other people to tell stories. So in other words, the exact opposite of what Christopher Nolan did.
Right.
He sealed that shit up in like a hyperbaric chamber.
And I don't blame him for it.
That's true.
I'm into other people doing things differently, but I get that his was so specific and unique to his voice that he was like, no, this version is done. Well, and I'm okay with that.
And in my opinion, Chris Nolan at least partly was driven by the fact that he saw what happened to Tim Burton's universe after Tim Burton got kicked out the door.
Right.
And he's like, you're not doing that to my movies.
Right.
I'm sure he would never say that.
Sure. Oh, yeah. He'd say it much more eloquently and probably
and in a
surprisingly
British
cutting. And yeah.
In a British accent, you'd be like, oh, that's so charming.
Yeah.
So this is going to be like Supervillain Palooza. We know that.
Right.
It's gonna have several villains who are not the Joker. The Joker is conspicuously, well, not conspicuously. The Joker is very consciously not in this movie. However, they've offered a role to Jonah Hill. Supposedly, it's the Riddler.
Right.
But also, I found this more interesting, is they have offered the role of Commissioner Gordon to Jeffrey Wright.
That's so perfect.
Right? I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, that is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
The one downside for me is that J.K. Simmons, what we saw of him, he was a great Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll never see more of that. But Jeffrey Wright, now, interestingly, the plan was always to go with a person of color. They originally were either considering or they offered it to Mahershala Ali.
I don't see that as much.
I have a harder time seeing that.
Yeah.
He's doing the Blade reboot with
Right.
Marvel, so then they gave it to Jeffrey Wright, and I'm like, I can totally see that.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining any actor playing Blade and Commissioner Gordon. Like, right. One is kind of like cool slice and dice guy, and then
I heard Jeffrey Wright, and I'm like, I want to see that scene where he's on the rooftop talking to Batman.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this, of course, Robert Pattinson is in this. He's locked in. He's tried on the bat suit, the whole thing. And I read an interview with him where because he's in Tenet.
Yes, the Christopher Nolan. Yeah,
the Christopher Nolan movie. So he was on the set of Tenet when he found out that he was going to be the next Batman. So he got to ask Christopher Nolan right there, like, okay, what's your advice? I'm excited.
I thought you were going to say what his advice was. I was curious.
I don't think that he has revealed specifically what that advice.
Well, I'm just happy that they had the conversation then.
I mean, here's the thing, because as soon as it was announced, that it was going to be Robert Pattinson, of course, you had all the people coming out of the woodwork, right?
Sure.
And
well, they have to. It's their job.
Just people, just
doesn't matter what it is. There's just got to be woodwork people to shout at it.
And I was like, oh, it sucks, because they all think of the Twilight movies, and it's like, well, my thing all along was like, if Matt Reeves says he's the guy, then that's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not like he's being forced on him.
Right.
And if he's done good work in a variety of films, so he's not Edward. That's not the totality of his abilities. Right. So here's what Pattinson said about the film. So he says, so yes, Robert Pattinson totally asked Christopher Nolan for Batman advice. As he explained, I was talking about things to do with the bat suit, how to get more movements in it. And that's about it. So. Which, don't ask him. Ask Christian Bale. I think Christian Bale has said he gave Pattinson the same advice he gave Ben Affleck. It was like, make sure they build it in a way that you can pee if you have to.
Yeah, I'd read that.
Which makes sense. Right?
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's crazy that Christian Bale is now 2 Batmans ago.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That's how far we're moving. That's how quickly.
I'm excited though for a new take on Batman.
I'm so ready. My continuum about this film has gone from. I mean, I was never apathetic, but I was just like, all right. But now, as it's getting closer, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready for another Batman.
Yeah, totally.
It's been long enough now. I'm also ready for another Spider-Man movie, Brian.
But there's a problem with that, Zachy.
Well, Brian, I know Mom and Dad were fighting.
Yeah. And
it was looking bad, but they're going to stay together for the sake of us, Brian, the kids.
What? Really?
So it broke over the summer that Marvel and Sony had ended up in a messy divorce over the Spider-Man rights, but they're going to work it out. I don't know if I called it. See, I was going to be like, I called it. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But this all began over money, right? Because Disney was not receiving a lot of money.
Disney was getting 5% of the gross.
Right.
For nothing. There was no money put in on Disney's part.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Disney was taking 5% of the gross as hey, we're giving you Kevin Feige. If Kevin Feige's making this movie for you, give us 5%. Right. Okay. Right, and then
their guy on loan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Disney, so the whatever arrangement there was ends with Far From Home, and Far From Home becomes the most successful Spider-Man movie ever made. Mm-hmm. More than $1 billion. So at that point, Disney's like, hey, how about we put in 50% of the cost, and then we split it 50-50.
Okay.
And Sony's like, hey, piss off. Let's keep doing what we're doing. And they went back and forth. Now, my understanding is that Disney presented the 25% option. And I don't know if they went with that first or after the 50%. But regardless, that's how this all has been resolved, where Disney will put in 25% of the financing for the next Spider-Man movie that Sony releases, and then they will take 25% of the gross.
Well, that makes more sense.
That does.
Yeah.
So so this deal here's the thing. We're going to be right back here in like 4 years. Because the deal encompasses one Spider-Man movie and one MCU movie featuring Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is just postponing the inevitable.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So here's my question to you. Who do you think won in this arrangement?
The fans.
Well, that's like the generic answer. But
Probably Sony, honestly, because I think
Why do you say that?
What's that?
Why do you say that?
Well, because for better or for worse, even if they could make a great Spider-Man movie on their own, I feel like there is fans can be colored by all of this news, and they might take it a certain way and sort of not feel like it's authentic anymore.
Yeah.
So there is something about having that stamp right on your film. And also, I think keeping Spider-Man involved with the biggest movies in the universe at the moment, having all this tied together is valuable for everybody.
Right.
So I think disconnecting that would be bad for Spider-Man, which would be Sony.
Yes. Okay.
What do you think?
No. I mean, I think people would know. I mentioned this before. I was surprised how plugged in, like, average people are with all the inner workings of this. Mm-hmm. Like, average people know the difference between an MCU movie and a non-MCU movie.
Sure. These days, yeah.
Which is, that itself is kind of fascinating. And so, for me, I think if I were to guess, Sony saw the tenor of the uproar, which extended beyond, like, your fanboy, fangirl crowd. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I think they realized it was in their best interest. And I think I have to imagine Disney realized that they were overplaying their hand with the 50% thing.
I agree. Like, hearing more of the details that you've just laid out, it was kind of a ridiculous. Them to expect to get money for nothing is kind of crazy. But now hearing that they're like, okay, well, we'll put in a little bit of this, we get a little bit back. That it just makes sense.
It just
no matter how big you are, you have to make a deal that makes sense.
Yes, I agree with that. So anyway, they've now in 2021, we're gonna have 4 MCU movies because they've slotted in. It's crazy, right? Because they've slotted in Spider-Man, Home Alone, or whatever the third one is gonna be called.
I'm into that.
Right? I think that's a good title. So we have Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. We have Spider-Man. There's something before that, though. Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yes. So Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and then Thor. Thor 4.
Thor. Wow.
And by the way, that's not including the Disney Plus stuff.
Right. Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I was joking before, but obviously the fans win here. But again, I'm not looking forward to having this exact same discussion in 3 years.
Just kicking the can down the road.
That's all we're doing, Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. If the Morbius movie flops, if anything other than, like, Venom 2, we expect that'll do well.
Sure.
But any of these other ones that Sony wants to make, these Spider-Man related movies, if they flop, Disney's hand will be strengthened.
Yep, for sure.
And I also and let's see if this prediction bears out. I am willing to bet that part of the deal is that Venom 2 will include some tie-in to specifically the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Disney's going to have to loosen their grip a little bit and allow the character to sort of float between universes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess.
I think that makes sense.
Right? So let's see how that's borne out.
Wait, and can you? I can't. Following up. I wasn't following a ton of news while I was traveling. I don't know what Morbius is. What's Morbius?
So Morbius, Brian, this is hashtag Zachy explains comics to Brian.
Yeah.
So Morbius is a Spider-Man related character who was introduced in the 70s, I believe. He is the living vampire. So there was a period there was something called the comic book code in the 1950s.
Right.
That basically prevented certain kind of content in comics. Among them, monsters, vampires, werewolves, things like that.
Oh, interesting.
And so in the 70s, those limitations were slackened a little bit to allow for things like monsters and stuff. So Marvel took advantage, and so they launched they launched Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night and all these monsters, the Living Mummy, Frankenstein, etc. And one of the villains they introduced is called Morbius, and his name is Michael Morbius, and he's a scientist who's doing an experiment, and he experiments on himself, which, guys, stop doing that. Comic book characters, it never ends well. So he ends up contracting this condition where he's like a scientifically created vampire.
Okay.
So he is a vampire, but he's not like bitten by a vampire to become a vampire. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
but he has the same appetites?
He needs blood to survive.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Angel, like before Angel,
All right.
The old TV show.
Yeah. Spinoff.
So he's been around for a while, and he's been in a bunch of Marvel books. He was actually in the animated Spider-Man series in the 90s. He was like one of the supporting characters there. So they have a movie of that starring Jared Leto, which I want to say is like in the can, I think.
Oh, this is already shot?
I feel like it is, but we haven't seen anything from it, which is weird.
Huh, okay.
But it is for sure a movie starring Jared Leto.
Okay, and this is coming soon then, apparently.
Well, let me look that up on the Google machine.
But in the Spider-Man universe, but probably won't see Spider-Man, but there could be acknowledgments to Venom, I assume.
I fully
Spider-Man
expect.
universe.
Okay, so this movie comes out July of next year.
Okay,
late July, and it's produced by Avi Arad, so that's a good mark of quality right there. Let's see. It's directed by Daniel Espinosa. It stars Jared Leto, Jared Harris, Tyrese is in it. And so, yes, this exists within the Venom universe.
Right.
But I mean, this has been my point, right? I like the character Morbius, but let's be real. Like, Venom is Venom. It's a whole different.
Right.
He exists on a whole different plateau. So
just his image is iconic. So,
that's exactly right. You
yeah.
know? And so, I mean, I hope it's good. I hope it does well. If it's good, I hope it does well. Yep. But if it doesn't, let's say, well, then Disney's hand is significantly strengthened.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
Also, actually, other Marvel news is interesting. Hulu had picked up a Ghost Rider TV series.
Yes, right. We had talked about that, I think.
We talked about it briefly. It was going to star Gabriel Luna, who is the current Terminator.
Right.
And he originated the role on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was picked up straight to series by Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
However, the show has been canceled before even entering production.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so now this is interesting.
Involved?
I mean, they had a showrunner, they had a whole writer's room, everything.
Yeah.
The special effects personnel were involved, everything. My understanding is although it was like, there was like creative disagreements, at least part of the reason is because supposedly Kevin Feige was like, well, I want Ghost Rider. I want to do something with Ghost Rider. And if you notice, I mean, if you've got Marvel Studios, the movie side, doing TV for Disney Plus, then it sort of makes redundant the idea of Marvel having a TV side that has nothing to do with the movie side.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, when you look at the budgets, I mean, the Disney Plus shows, for 6 episodes, they've got like $150 million.
Yeah.
They've got like movie money.
Right.
And then you've got, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever, which, you know me, I don't dislike that show, but I mean,
Sure.
it looks like television.
Right.
So, kind of interesting. Kevin Feige, man, he's got a lot of pull, this guy.
Yeah. Well, more on that.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing some music, which I think means we've already transitioned here. So Kevin Feige is not content, Brian, with having conquered the Marvel Universe. He now wants to conquer a galaxy far, far away.
Have we ever talked about this before? Speculating that Kevin Feige would eventually get into the Star Wars business?
I don't know if we have on the show.
Yeah, my brother constantly is telling me I want Kevin Feige to make a non-superhero movie, a non-Marvel movie.
Interesting.
He's just seems to be such a... It's so interesting, too, because I mean, obviously he's brilliant for what he's been able to pull off with all this, but like, I wonder what his particular skill sets are. You know, would he write and direct a movie? Does he have like the storytelling acumen? Is he just an awesome producer putting people together and sort of overseeing everything? And anyway,
I'll say this: as far as storytelling acumen, I think that's borne out.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I think that's what my brother was saying. Is he just throws? I mean, these movies. You say 4 movies in 1 year coming soon, and we're probably gonna like all 4 of them,
right?
And he makes these so many characters, but they all pop. And my brother's like, I want to see him tell another story too. I'd like to see that applied to other things. And so this is not exactly that, but this is, I think, for most people, I would see this as exciting news.
Yeah. So essentially, Feige had an idea for a Star Wars movie, and I think if you're Disney, you say go on.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And so this is going to happen at some point. It's a Feige. I don't know if I don't know what it would be. Like, is it he's just going to carry it to completion, or he just gives them the idea and they run with it? I also have to imagine if you're Kathleen Kennedy, you're probably getting a little sick of all this shit. Right?
Yeah. And then you also got to wonder, when news like this breaks, are people like, oh, watch out, Kathleen?
Yes.
Like, this is maybe like a trial for Feige.
Well, here's my brother-in-law Omar said this, so I have to credit to him. But he's like, if you ask me, Alan Horn, who is the head of Disney's movie side, is not getting any younger. At some point, he's going to retire. And it would make sense to kick Kathleen Kennedy upstairs into that role, which he would be very suited for. That's not a demotion.
No.
Right?
No.
At all. And you could conceivably see a scenario where Feige could have shared dominion over both, which that to me seems more unlikely, that last part.
Having both?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. But I could easily see Kathleen Kennedy getting kicked upstairs.
That absolutely makes sense. And it's interesting, too, in reading some of these things, I saw that apparently Kevin Feige is an even bigger Star Wars fan than he is a Marvel fan, which is hard to wrap my head around.
Right?
But I'm all for this. I mean, at this point, where Star Wars has become a bit despecialized in a way.
Yes.
Just by sheer volume now, or frequency that we're seeing it. It's not a rare, awesome, special thing anymore. It's just a thing that happens, and we hope it's good. Yeah, man. This is exactly the type of person I'd love to see a Star Wars movie from. So let's do it, and I hope it hits.
If Kevin Feige has an idea for a Star Wars movie, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah.
Now that said, one person who has definitely been sidelined is George Lucas.
Yes.
And this has been kind of a sad story, which we've tracked ever since he made the sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth remembering. We started this show like 2 months before the big Disney sale.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And so we've gone on this whole journey, and he, remember, like, right around when Force Awakens came out, he gave some interviews like, yeah, so I sold it to the white slavers.
Did he really?
Yeah, do you remember that?
I forgot Disney. That sounds familiar, but yeah.
He called Disney white slavers.
Wow.
And then he had to come back and like backtrack, which, like, that's a thing. How do you backtrack from that?
I know. I know.
I didn't actually mean it that way.
What I meant was, may the force be with you all. And everyone's like, hey, cool.
Exactly. So Bob Iger put out a book, right, where he's talking about Bob Iger is the head of Disney, and he says in the book that George Lucas felt betrayed and upset by the Star Wars sequel trilogy because they, of course, during the course of the sale they purchased. Remember, it was a whole thing. They purchased Lucas's treatment.
Yeah.
For the sequels, and Iger at the time he like read it, and he was like one of the few people who read it, and I guess they didn't like it.
Right.
Because they're like, no, we're good. And so Lucas was upset that they were like just kind of, it was a retread. Which it is.
It is.
I mean, Force Awakens is a karaoke version of A New Hope. I don't. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And Lucas was very upset. Now the thing with this is, it's hard to feel bad for George Lucas. That's
Sure.
where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
You know, I'm mostly there. I think it depends on his attitude. I will say that, but I can understand it's his baby, and if he is like, I wasn't crazy about it, like, yeah, he's entitled.
Which I get that, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. He walks away with $4 billion.
Sure.
Okay, so that's a lot of paper to dry your tears with, right?
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
secondly, like, George Lucas had his idea for the sequel trilogy. Remember, it's like, oh, we're going to go into the history of the midichlorians and
And the Journal of Wills.
yeah, young Anakin and Jar Jar go on a mystical journey,
Right.
whatever it was, and whatever he put out, it would have made money. Right? So if he truly wanted to make those films, he could have done it and then walked away. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think the prequels broke him, though.
I totally agree. I mean, the world like just destroyed whatever desire
he had left.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. He even said it. He's like, I'll put it out, and people would hate it just like they hate everything. And
Yeah.
screw you guys, you bastards. So I get that, but I mean, just being real, like, he could have kept a tight leash and farmed his ideas out. He could have called up Spielberg. He could have got J.J. Abrams. Hell,
You're right. I bet he could have.
right? So if that was what he wanted, if he wanted those films to be made, he could have gotten them made under his purview before walking away. That's my point.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously, I feel bad for George Lucas because I feel bad for anybody who sort of sees the party pass them by a little bit, right?
Sure. I agree with that. Yeah.
And it's it's his. These are his children. I get it. He's watching somebody else raise his children. That's difficult,
Yeah.
right? But it's I think there's just so much money involved here that this is like this to me is like the quintessence of rich people problems.
Sure.
$4 billion. You are given $4 billion to part with every earthly possession you have currently.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yes. $4 billion. Everything you own will now
my
be mine.
stuff. Yes.
You'd be like, well, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Because with $4 billion, I'll just rebuy whatever,
Right.
whatever.
I was trying to make the analog to him and his sort of creation.
But
that he's unleashed
it's
into
the
world.
same idea. I mean, in the sense that that's what his life's work is worth. Right? And so if you put me in a position where I create something that is eventually worth $4 billion, I'd be like, take it all.
Sure. Especially if I was finished with it. Maybe this is him revealing that he didn't feel he was. I mean, was he under the impression that was what was going to be made? I mean, was it made clear to him that we will take a look at these?
Yeah, so Iger says in the book that it was made clear, look, we may not use this.
Right.
And that's just like, well, you just got to assume that, right?
Yeah, well, a normal person might, but maybe he would think...
I mean, then he should have put that in the contract. Like,
oh no, I agree. I'm not defending him. I just, yeah, it's interesting because I've seen some people sort of be like to George over this, but I'm like, well, if you didn't like it, there's nothing wrong with saying you didn't like it.
Yeah, sure. I can dig that.
Yeah. And there was another part of the quote I thought was interesting where he said, There weren't enough visual or technical leaps forward.
Yes.
And
Which
I was like, okay. I mean, what do you... Actually, I would disagree. I think they found the perfect marriage between what you started and I think arguably did not perfect and what people wanted. They wanted a mixture of the old and the new. And I'm just talking completely technical.
Yes.
And I thought it was actually a brilliant marriage.
Yeah, and I mean, well, does he mean like in the sense that every Star Wars movie presented viewers with like a new locale, a new environment?
I think he did say that, but I also wonder what he means when he says technical leaps. I think because obviously Star Wars kickstarted modern special effects, right?
Yes, that's right.
And then the whole digital, this isn't even arguably, it truly, the prequels did kick off the way filmmaking is now, like digital cameras, right? Wasn't that like the Attack of the Clones, the first entire movie shot with a digital camera? So maybe he feels like that's a part of the Star Wars legacy as well, doing something completely new that, starts a trend.
Yes.
Revolutionizes filmmaking, which is, he's also a businessman, right? Like he owns all these technical companies as well with sound and...
But, he's walked away from everything, hasn't he?
I have no idea. I think so, probably.
I thought everything is owned by Disney now.
Yeah, all his company, like ILM and all that?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, maybe. But it's interesting to me that was as much a part of what he was putting out there as the stories themselves.
Right.
Yeah. I would not have imagined that's how he looked at it, but it makes sense to me when I hear that.
Yeah. So, anyway, well, maybe we'll agree with George when we see Rise of Skywalker in a few months.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who knows? It's also easy to kind of dump on his thing when he talks about all the mythology and diving into the minutia, which people tend not to be fans of.
Yes.
But I have to admit, I do admire that he did keep trying to do different things every time he did something. And so I just wish I could read it. I just want to read it. I'm very curious what he wanted.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, what the story was.
And I've said this, right? Like, say what you want about the prequels, and I think you and I agree, we're not the main audience for them.
Yeah.
They still feel uniquely George Lucas in a way that these new films obviously don't.
Right.
Because they are processed through, they're diffused through many more filters. Right. But hey, we'll have plenty more Star Wars news to talk about as the release of The Rise of Skywalker ramps up, and I'm getting excited. I'm getting there.
Yeah. Oh man, me too. I'm ready.
My body is ready. So I think that's a good place to leave this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. And we got a new episode coming up not too long from now.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Joker, which comes out in just a few short days. So I'm seeing that in a few hours after we record this. So
cool.
I'm expecting to have many thoughts.
Yeah, that's going to be a really interesting discussion. There's been so much discussion beforehand; it's almost exhausting.
Really
so
it's exhausting.
Yeah, I almost wish I could have just seen it on its own terms first and formed an opinion, and then all that. Like we did with Solo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. And also coming up later this month will be our First Blood commentary track. So listen for that as well. Are you back to work on Puppy Dog Pals?
I am. Yep. Still got episodes airing from previous season. And I think a new season starting up right quick, late fall.
Nice.
And then we're currently working on another season at the moment. So really exciting stuff.
Keeps plugging along.
Yeah.
As for me, you can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram. You can also see my reviews at the San Francisco Chronicle. Just posted today is my look back at Shawshank Redemption, 25 years of that movie. I had a great time reflecting on that one, so please do check that out as well.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and of course, please, folks, go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we're appreciative of everybody who took the time to write a review for us. And please keep that momentum going. And we'll be back soon with our Joker episode. So please make sure you come back for that.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.